love it. I love it. That's a cool little stinger.
So I gotta thank Two Brothers for that. Nick from Two Brothers made that, tinkering around with some of the other stuff he's doing. So I appreciate that.
That's a cool. What they call that, a stinger, right?
Yeah,
I got to get one of those. That is cool.
Here we are. JB, BLC.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much for hanging out for this because I am incredibly nervous for this, and not because we're going live on a show. It's just unboxing this is going to be crazy. So while we talk.
We got backstory. You got to give me some backstory. Where was this acquired? How long has this been on the list?
Yes.
Is it on the list?
So
could we guess it based on looking behind you and seeing all the copies of Saga and Punisher? Could we guess what this thing is?
You probably could. Once we scored the ASM 129 last year, we put this on our 2020 hunt list.
Okay.
And it was the number one. It's the number one book on our 2020 hunt list, and we never thought we were going to get there, but some things came together. My wife and I are we've been working full time and overtime through this whole ordeal, so some things worked out. But yeah, we'll hit the chat really quick because BLC's right. I totally dropped that ball. We got Rob Boswell was tailgating at the beginning, and
tailgating.
My boy Beer Richards here hanging out. Thank you. And Backseat, thanks for stopping in. DNP's here. You know, DNP and I, it took 2 days we spent making that thumbnail.
And it was worth it. That thumbnail is fire.
It was nice. It was cool. I like it.
Perry Comics, Samuel Taylor, thanks for hanging out. JP, hey, thanks for stopping in. Comic Books NYC, hey man, thanks. Congratulations. Yeah. He's on a work call. Solo Wookie, thanks for stopping in. My goal is kind of to try to keep this to like 20, 25 minutes because you guys both have other things going on here shortly. And the sooner I get this done with, the sooner I can stop being nervous because my feet are sweating.
You mentioned 2020 hunt list, but by the way, you also have the Gray Man and B. Ramey also popped in.
Oh, thank you.
You mentioned 2020 hunt list. Okay.
Gray Man, Ruben Neves,
and
is in there.
When you make your hunt list, do you honestly think that these are books that you are going to acquire, or this is the 2020 wish list or hunt list? Like you're going to get this no matter hell or high water before the year was over, or was, I'm going to throw it on the list, and if we get lucky, sure, I'll buy it, but if we don't get it, whatever.
So our hunt list is like number one on the hunt list is always kind of like a wish list book, like a. I don't think we'll get to it, and we'll kind of see what happens. Then books 2 through 5 or 6 are really kind of more manageable, kind of planning out.
And this was number one.
And this was number one. And I might mind you, this is exactly why I haven't been buying anything in the auctions, haven't been spending any money, is because I think this was probably our only shot. This is one book.
All that for one book.
Wow.
This is one book. And everybody that we were talking to yesterday is like, that's got to be 3 or 4 slabs, da-da-da-da-da. This is one book.
That's a big box.
This is a big boy book.
Whoa, gotta be the way that thing's packed.
Wow, that thing is packed just impeccably.
Wow.
Now, would you like to share where you acquired this book from?
Online. This was
a random eBay purchase?
This is one of those things where you set some parameters and you set some searches and you kind of look every day or every week or every. In my instance, I was looking 3 times a day every day for 7 days a week for quite a while. And you're kind of gauging the market and gauging what's going to happen. And it boiled down to a point was if we didn't do it, we probably weren't going to get another chance.
Now, when you were out there looking, did this book come across a lot, or you was looking for the right price or the right condition?
This was a book that if you it doesn't come up a lot.
It doesn't come up.
All right, the rare book. Okay.
It didn't. There was sometimes, it's one of those things where people would put it up for 100% higher than what the market average was or whatever.
Wow.
The Great Man says it is a Turok number 1 or an X-Force 1. You're great, man.
Grail, that's what I love. This community is everybody's goals and grails are slightly different, so it could be Darkhawk #1.
You've also got Los who popped into the chat and Sarah K.
Yeah, Bill Ray Me says, is it a raw book or a slab we're looking at?
It is a slab.
It
Definitely a slab.
Okay.
Yeah, those eBays, man. Let me tell you, when it comes
Okay, next question. Is this book on the census, and in the particular book in your hand, is this like categorized in the census?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
You're gonna look up. You'll be able to look up that number, and it's gonna be on there.
Yeah, we'll look up. I mean, we can talk census numbers in a minute here because it's one of those things where
is this going to be a Marvel or DC?
Neither.
Well, neither. Yeah, with him, it's gonna be a saga.
What?
It's gonna be a saga that he doesn't have, which I can't believe he doesn't have one.
In the chat, we got old 65. Three line information's in there, and 3 lines. What is going on? We are waiting to see what he has got.
Oh man. Hopefully I didn't just give that away with
That is a ton of packaging.
Right. Did you get the grade you was looking for, or did you have to adjust the grade that you
no, we definitely got the grade we were looking for.
Okay, okay. That's good. That's good.
It's one of those things where
did you guys care which grading company it was coming from?
You know, I never really thought about that because this book, I don't think I've seen any
Other grading company.
CBCS books or CBCS copies of this.
Hey, shout out to Ruben Nieves and Old Wolf, who've also stopped in the chat.
Oh boy. 7 minutes. Okay.
He says, can we guess in the chat, or do you not want to risk that?
No, you guys can go ahead and guess because I already know what it is.
Saga 1 retailer incentive is the guess from Los. Saga 1 retailer incentive. That's got to be it.
Let me think about it.
There's a saga.
There's a saga. It's a saga.
Saga 1.
I'm going with a 9.8.
Wow.
I
gotta go 9.8. 9.8. Yeah. Wow. You've been after this book for quite a while, right?
Yeah, it's been on our radar for 4 or 5 years.
Wow, to have something that you've been chasing for 4 or 5 years.
We never really made a big push for this until the last 10 or so months. And 2 months ago with the world situation and what everything happened, we were like, okay, this isn't gonna. We're gonna set the 2020 Grail hunt list aside, and we're not really gonna pay much attention to it. And then we realized that we were both working.
And not going out and not spending money and not doing all those things that you would normally be doing. So, you're like, man, this is good.
You know what paid for this book? All the restaurant and brewery trips that we haven't been able to do.
You haven't been to. Wow.
Which is unfortunate.
Awesome.
I mean, we really like supporting our local breweries and whatnot. So it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to do that. But that's kind of what made this book possible is we had we keep a separate savings fund for comic grails. And usually that funded Baltimore last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that fund was nowhere near where we needed it to be to make this happen. But with all of the events of the last 2 or 3 months, it just kind of like we kept finding ways of saving more. And it got to the point where it's like, okay, we could do this. Let me take a look at all the books in the collection that aren't really quite making it into the PC and see about letting some of those go to the community members at below fair market value. Just because I know what I have into them. And then this popped up. And we've had this conversation for the last 3 or 4 months, maybe 2 or 3 months. Because these things disappeared. Like Blue Label 9.8s kind of disappeared. Like the Signature series you can find floating around for really high prices. But we had the conversation. I said, look, it's getting to the point where I just kind of, instead of asking for permission, maybe I ask for forgiveness. And she just kind of looks at me and she's like, you know, if it's really going to be that tough to find in time, maybe we should just go ahead and make that call now. Because when Saga comes back, I think we'll see an uptick in the census, but I don't think we'll see the price decrease at all either.
Gotcha.
And
probably level off.
A week after we picked this one up, somebody posted a copy on eBay for 4 Gs.
Oh my goodness.
Like 160% higher than the last couple of sales. So
wow. Perry says, you got that book with beer money? You drink a lot of beer.
So he's parched. Yeah, he can't wait for the beer stuff to open up again.
My hands are sweating because this is like we never thought we'd actually be able to put everything together to get
Wow.
Wow. What's left?
Damn.
What's left now? I mean, when you take that deep breath and you're like, "Wow, I got it." How long are you gonna savor it? How long are you gonna savor it? Are you already starting to think about what's next? I know you are thinking about what's next. Don't say it out loud. Savor this moment. Savor this moment.
Oh, we're savoring this moment, but this is just invigorates us to make a bigger push for there's 11 total variants, or 11. There's a cover A and 10 variants of cover A for Saga #1. And there's the Mexican edition, there's the Mexican variant edition, and I still need a 2014 copy of Image First in 9.8. Those are kind of pretty much ghosts on the census and online trying to find them.
The Image First? What are you talking about? The dollar reprint?
Yeah.
Dollar reprint's a ghost?
Yep. Because they did a 2012 print, a 2014, and a 2017, and apparently the 2014 print was so underprinted it's incredibly hard to find.
Wow.
And this is like deep cut level, like collecting and whatnot, and this is where it kind of go off of the deep end. But I've been finding raw candidates, high grade raw candidates, and I've got a set of the Mexican variants to go to CGC next.
Wow.
So I'll be packing those up this week to send out, and that'll be my next unboxing as part of that and a few other books.
See, I love it when somebody tries to get the whole collection of something. Like I try to do the deceased. So, it's that hunt, man, to hunt down to get them and look and constantly looking, man.
But that's what's got me sweating.
It's a trip. It is a trip.
Congratulations, Andy.
That one book is going to mess me up, man. It's going to mess me up. That one book, the one from Fan Expo from Orlando, that one deceased book.
Mm.
You need to have a picture of that thing and share it.
Silver foil, man.
Just get a picture of it so that we can
I
see
looked
it.
up,
And you got all these eyes out there.
No, I did. I hit up Jay Blitz, who's in Florida, of course. Most likely that's the state.
I'm not saying that. You do a stream. Yep. Every stream, you throw the picture up. Say, oh, by the way, I'm still looking for this book. You got all those people out there. They see the book. They keep their eye out.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a gold chain. I'm going to wear it like Flava Flav.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, Two Brothers is in the chat as well as who else popped in?
Yeah. We got Two Brothers stopping in.
Richard is here.
Yep. So that's our bro from Pinky's Out
Monster
podcast.
Collection.
Ken, thanks for hanging out with us. Los.
Good to see you, Monster Collection. Never heard of that one.
Congratulations, Steve, for winning that pop on JB's channel.
Hey, Monster Collection. That might be one of my
won the pop today, man.
Congratulations, Bert.
Family won the pop today. Whoa. And this is tomorrow's pop. I got another pop for tomorrow. Easy to enter. Right. Just drop a comment.
You can just send it to me, JB. Don't even bother spinning the wheel. Save some time.
There was only 41 entries on that wheel, man.
Oh, man.
They had a great chance. They had a great chance, man.
It was those. And you want to know the most important thing about this is we never would have accomplished this if it wasn't for this community. Because the daily push to want to hit your goals, you see everybody else, and it inspires you. That daily inspiration from everybody working on these and supporting the community, and the community supporting itself back. Mm-hmm. That was that push that we needed when it came time and it popped up. The book showed up. In less than an hour of the book showing up, I had an offer in, and then 10 minutes later, I had a counter offer, and it's like I can't let that go for like 60. I can't say no for just an extra $60. Like,
yeah,
the seller was basically like counter offering, like, hey, look, this is going to be about half the taxes. Help me battle this out, kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, dude. At this point, the book before we picked it up was 268 on the census out of 500. There's only 500 copies of this printed.
Wow.
So a little over half have been graded. So there's a little under half still left and available. But this book was 2012. So we're 8 years that they've been bouncing around. And people should keep those immaculate. So I'm expecting to see 20 or 30 more books hit 9.8 in the next year. But I don't think that price is. I think this book's gonna just continue to make that steady climb, and it's gonna see a pretty decent spike when Saga comes back. Yeah, I know it would be nice to have some friends over hanging out. Congratulations, son.
Nice.
Thanks, Dad. But this community just inspires me, and hopefully it continues to inspire other people to reach even the loftiest goals that they have, and not to forget that even though it's a lofty goal, still set it and push for it, because if you fail to reach that goal, it teaches you different ways to get there at some point. So yeah, and that's the other thing. The boss upstairs here,
Yeah.
best present to ourselves, I think. Yeah, we got it for our anniversary too.
Oh, that's cool.
So now comes the backstory. I didn't want to give you the backstory because it would have gave the book away right away. We had that tough decision years ago where we were originally told that we couldn't have children. When we were informed of that, we decided to replan the next 5-10 years of our life. First thing we went to was like, well, maybe we get some property. Let's look at hobbies. So a number of years ago, I was like, well, I want to get back into comic book collecting. And she was incredibly supportive. And when I went back and found a local shop and walked in that door, I said, what do I need to read? What have I missed out in the last 10 or 15 years? And the first book they pointed me to was Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples' Saga. So I grabbed the first trade paperback and go to that first couple of pages, and she's pregnant and having a kid. So I took that book and chucked it across the basement and hit the wall with it. Like, are you kidding me? What kind of universe is doing this to me right now? I think it was a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks after that, we found out we were pregnant.
Wow.
When it gets going good, it gets going good. It just rolls.
So the story is an amazing story with amazing artwork as it sits, but it's actually incredibly intertwined with my family's story now too. So over the last year and a half, 2 years, we've been collecting all of the first prints, and some of them were cheap, $40-$50 a while ago. Now some of them are a lot more expensive. And then this was the one that even when we first started looking at it was still a $1,500 book.
Oh,
damn.
So it's gone up, and it'll probably continue to go up. But the price, I don't care about price. I don't care if this becomes less than what I paid for it. This was a family acquisition for me. That's kind of the backstory, because then we continue reading that, and then we fell in love with that. And the more people I meet in the community that haven't read Saga, I'm like, give it a shot, because
I've given my trades out and let them do their thing, because if you haven't read Saga, wow, what great characters.
Can't you ever talk to my wife? Well, that's the funny thing. It's a careful what you wish for sometimes, because now I have a competing pull list. She's got her own thing going on in her own reads now at the LCS. So now it's like, I'm going to go to the comic book shop. She's like, okay, can you pick up my stuff too? I'm like, yeah, I wasn't planning on that extra $30 right now, but yeah, I can do it. Or vice versa. Wow. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
I do want to know what's next.
Yeah, what's next on the list?
You said Mexican variant. You said,
yep.
What was number 2 on the list? On the physical 2020 list. If this was number 1, what was 2, 3, and 4? Number
2 is the Mexican variants. So
the whole list is all one book?
No.
Anything else on the list?
Number 3 is a high grade ASM 135, like 94, 96, 98. That's the second
135.
Second appearance of the Punisher.
Oh.
And the funny thing is when I went to C2E2, you go to cons and you ask around, say, hey, I'm looking for this. More than half the vendors laughed at me and they're like, well, why would you buy that book? It's not a key.
I don't even have it.
I'm like, it's a second appearance of the Punisher. It's a key to me. It's what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then spots 4 and 5 are basically the registry set parts for my Punisher Volume 2 collection I'm going for, that just are not incredibly expensive, like $60, $70, $80, but there's like 3 on the census. So I've gotten to the point where I'm buying high grade raw copies to try to get a 9.8 back for the registry.
Got it.
So it's kind of narrow windowed, kind of like got blinders on. It's either Saga or Punisher, but I mean, collect what you love and you'll love what you collect, right?
He's got the compendium. Is that everything? Is there anything more than the compendium?
I think Rob, help me out here. Is there 3 compendiums, like 3 hardcover copies right now? I think. I don't remember. Hey, Bake, thanks for stopping in. Tony Sanders, it's a personal grail. Yeah, it really is.
Why not?
Like, I watch so many people score awesome books out of mystery boxes from the community, like Hulk 181s and other great books. And I'm like, man, I should start saving up for that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not my personal grail. It'd be cool to share, but this is my personal grail. So that's what we ended up saving.
Get you your personal grail. That's it.
We started saving up for this book the second I got home from Baltimore last year. Started putting stuff aside.
And Baltimore, if you guys don't know, that's where I met ComicManAndy and JB for the first time. All we were at Baltimore, and it was a blast. So, you know,
Can't wait for cons to come back.
I know I am dying.
I cannot wait for cons to come back, man.
And it didn't happen.
Biggie and I were scheduled to be staying at a sick ass resort in Florida.
I know.
And it all got canceled, but
yeah, we'll see what happens. I hear that some cons have gotten the green light for July. Some of the smaller conventions locally in the in my tri-state area are getting a green light for July, end of July.
Really?
I think. So
Really?
hopefully things start to right themselves in the world, and hopefully, you know, people aren't too impacted.
If that's true, I'm gonna be looking at Heroes Con. I believe they were supposed to be in August. I believe something like that. I'll take a look at that, because you know, just I missed going to con. But again, I don't know how they're gonna proceed, you know, with the rules and restrictions still at that point, you know.
Right.
I don't think cons will ever be the same until they actually have a full-blown vaccine where you're getting your corona shot right after your flu shot, you know.
Yeah.
When it's one of those things, then everything will just go back to normal. You know,
right. Like I feel like
it's gonna clear that shit up.
It's going to take so long for them to finish their trials and finish perfecting their vaccines that by the time they even get to that, I wonder if everybody will already have herd immunity to the point where it's like it's not needed.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, science and all that crazy stuff. But
no, they're definitely going to keep working until they have a vaccine, just in case it's re-encouraged, because they don't want to go through this blown.
Right.
So they have their own projects, and you know, I know that a lot of these places are trying to be the first one to see who comes up with the vaccine. So they're going to keep working on it, because this thing's not over, because they even said that it might come back during the winter. So, you know, definitely they got to get a vaccine for this, you know, this type of virus that hit so many people. You know, they can't lay off of it. They have to find a solution for it at one point.
And Andy, before we wrap, can you go ahead and go big screen and give us a really good view of this cover so I can see some of the detail on this thing?
I got so excited earlier.
And give me some explanation. What does it actually read? Is it a 1 in 50, a 1 in 100? What is this thing?
So this is they printed 500 copies of this. I completely forgot to do this big screen earlier.
Big screen.
It's the retailer incentive 2012. So it came out. What was that? Where Diamond was at? The Diamond retailer incentive. What convention did they do that at? I don't know.
Is that a San Diego Comic-Con or one of the bigger ones, or New York?
It might be. At 2012, I wasn't paying attention to that far back, but 500 copies. The greatest story. Yep, the greatest story that's out there, in my opinion. Ain't making any more. I mean,
right? No, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, my hands are sweating just holding it.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
It's to the point where it's like I've had
the artist,
Fiona Staples
on that. So she did all the covers. Every variant is all Fiona Staples. Everything.
Yep. So it's her covers and her art. That's Brian K. Vaughan was I don't know if you want to say he was adamant or whatever, but they teamed up for this, and she's been working on it through and through with him, and she delivered
that's awesome.
The visual impact of his story. And I don't know. It's I've always had fun with all of the pokes and the jabs about how much does Andy like Saga and whatnot. I don't know if I can put this one up and put it up behind me because I'm too.
So
that makes me nervous.
All of the Saga ones, is this the rarest?
Yeah, 500 copies. So
that is the rarest.
This is 500 copies
in a freaking 9.8.
Yep.
Wow.
Nice.
And then the second rarest has got to probably be the fourth print or the 2014 Image First, because the fourth print was about 1,400 to 1,500 copies.
Wow.
And these are Comic-Con numbers, I think. So they're not perfect numbers by any means, but about 1,500 copies for the fourth print. I have not been able to lock down estimated print numbers of that 2014 Image First. And I see them come up on eBay, but they're usually too beat up to make a 9.8.
Yeah.
And everything else was, the numbers escape me at the moment. I think cover A of the first, the number one cover A was, I think, 36,000 copies or 3,600. I could be completely remembering that wrong. I digress. Numbers are something that unless I have them right in front of me, I can.
So it's actually a 1 in 150 retailer incentive variant.
Okay. Interesting.
That's crazy.
Is that the highest grade that book came in? 9.8's the highest.
Is there anything on the census higher than a 9.8?
9.8.
Nothing's on the census higher than a 9.8.
But you have a 9.8.
How many 9.8s are currently on the census?
There's a lot.
Well,
like I said, there's 260 some odd copies graded, and I think more than 3/4 of those copies graded made 9.8.
9.8. Okay.
And I think a quarter about 9.6. And then if you break down the numbers even more, there's about a third of all copies are signed copies, roughly.
Ooh, okay.
Give or take. And that's one of those things where, that signed copy stuff, like we thought about breaking down and getting one of those because that's what was available. And I'm like, no, I'm not a signature collector. I've got a couple of Jim Lee things that I like.
Yeah.
But the blue label is where we're at. And I think the blue label is going to overtake the signed copy pricing in time because eventually, if people aren't selling them and people are only selling the signed copies, then, supply demand.
Yeah. Jason, Comics Misexplained just popped in. He missed it. You may want to go big screen for him one more time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Give him the view. Give him the view. Check this one out, man. He got it.
So him and I have talked about this occasionally off air, and about how rare this book is. So, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, it's
the only time I sell like signed copies of books. It's like if I went to a con and I had about 3 copies with me because I want to make sure I try to get that 9.8. And if I get the 9.8, then then I'm like happy. I'm like, all right, then I'll get rid of the risk because I don't need it. But I really don't sell my signed books. It's for my personal use. But again, I take multiple copies because to get there, to get online, to get them signed, to go through the whole process, I just don't want to go with that one book and go, damn, I should have brought more copies with me. And then when I get home,
then you could recoup some of that scratch.
And then there you go.
So they talk about some of the more important, like blue chip modern books, if you will, if blue chip's even really the term you want to use. Walking Dead is one of the ones that always comes up first. Walking Dead number 1. I think this is going to overtake Walking Dead number 1 by a landslide 10 years from now, 15 years from now. But
if they do anything with this property, movie or TV wise, it's going to go crazy.
But yeah, Saga is that modern day Grail. Thanks, Bake. In my opinion, it really is. It's going to be one of those blue chip ones with Invincible. Invincible, Walking Dead, and Saga number 1 are the books that are going to be kind of, well, I mean, you get this is a variant of the original, but man, I got to breathe. And it's time to, I'm going to turn and burn. I'm going to turn right around and I'm going to package this stuff up for CGC and fill out the paperwork today or tomorrow and get another box sent off because I just reapplied for my CGC membership. So I've got a $150 credit to use up.
Use it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
good stuff.
I can't believe that book is sitting right here. I like looking at it on
next to you. It looks good on the screen. It looks good when you're big screen, you're holding it up. It looks really
right
good.
Now with CGC, I sent an order in and I got it packed pretty quick because there's no cons. So if guys are going to be sending books to get graded, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Why the Last Man?
The turnaround is a lot better than what you usually do.
I regret not buying Bake's Why the Last Man number 1 that he had for sale a few months ago. But that's the reason why I didn't buy it is because that would have been that chunk of money away from this. So there's a lot of regrets that I have about books that I didn't buy, but it all culminated right here into that. Invincible number 1. That one's well over $1,000 in a 9.8. I want to say that's somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $2,000 for a 9.8.
Damn.
Wow.
Bruce, thanks for stopping in. We're going to close this out right now because I know
30 minutes. You want to go 30 minutes? It's perfect timing.
BLC has a show coming up, and I know JB, you've got some duties that you got to take care of. He said duties.
Duties. JB's got a duty.
That's my dad funny for the day. Well, hey, I got a good one. I mean, I can save it for later though. The Mexican variants, I'll actually show off. I'll do what I'm sending off to CGC, like 20-minute video sometime this week or next week, depending on how busy I get. But yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for your time. It was a blast. It's nice having a couple of really good friends to help go over this, because just the nerves. I mean, just the nerves of getting a book like that. Your number one Grail of a year, and we still have the other half of the year to go. So I'm going to take and start saving up for Baltimore in hopes of Baltimore happening.
Yeah,
But
that'll be nice. That'll be nice. But again, you know, to see books, like you said, this is a tough book to get. To actually see somebody get it and enjoy it, and a book that once again you don't see all the time, and you know, it just brings out everybody, you know, the feeling that he's feeling, and if you get the feeling, and you're like, wow, I'm so happy for him. If it feels like if I got it. You know, so I'm so thrilled for you to get that book. You know, so congrats, man. Enjoy.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man.
I'm just happy that you got it, man. That is so cool. I'm so pumped for you. That's awesome.
It's great to spread that. It's great to spread that feeling around that everybody else gets to do. That I get to be a part of it and culminate on that. In closing, really quick, BLC, man, what do you got going on today?
Well, coming up in about a half hour, doing a live show. What I found outside the cat litter box. If you guys don't know, it's not just about comics. It's about whatever else that I collect. Because if you guys don't know, I'm an open book. I collect whatever books I like, whatever action figures, DVDs, you know, pops, or whatever it is.
That's right.
So you never know. Yeah, I got baseball cards, Pokemon cards. It's just a whole bunch of things I got in this room. So again, you know,
never know.
And see what came in, you know.
Nice. Very cool. JB, man, I know you're busy. I know you've got something going on today. Let us hear it.
Today I'm done for the day. Actually, I've just been every day. I'm a step closer to summer. I'm homeschooling the kids, man. So anybody who's doing homeschooling with me, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I got 3 more days after today, and then we are into the summer break, and I'm very pumped on that. Plus, we're having concrete poured in the backyard tomorrow, so it's lots of cool stuff coming over here.
Wow, JB's got a mansion. Just letting you know, JB's got a mansion.
All right. I can't thank you guys enough again. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for hanging out and sharing in the experience. Please like, comment, subscribe, stay and hang out on the channel, because I'm gonna have to do another kind of dad joke contest as a thank you to the community, and find some cool stuff to give away, because that was a lot of fun. Got some good feedback. So I'd like to do that again here soon. Yeah, I'll do a video coming up about what we're sending to CGC next. So thanks again, guys. We're gonna end it here. I'm gonna see these guys backstage and say a couple of parting comments and thank you again, but I'm going to go peace out. I'm going to go pinkies out. I'm going to catch everybody on the flip side, because here we go.